Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chino Moses, and I'll be your host for today's event. I'll just ask that we take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes for others to join, and then we'll start today's golden dialogue in full. Thank you so much again for joining us. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon once again. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed guests, and our fellow enthusiasts of the precious metals market. I am delighted to welcome all of you to this panel titled Golden Dialogue, Perspective and Insights from Seasoned Investors. I am your host. My name is Chinonye Moses, and I am a precious metals trading officer here at Dukia Gold. And it is my honor to facilitate this enlightening conversation today. So before we dive into our conversation, allow me to introduce our esteemed panelists. We have Mr. Wole Awe. Mr. Wole Awe is a highly accomplished professional with a rich and diverse background in the financial industry. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in philosophy from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and a postgraduate diploma in financial management from the same institution. Mr. Wole Awe is a certified dealing clerk of the Nigerian Stock Exchange since 1994 and achieved the status of a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers in 2009. He has an extensive 30-year career spanning stockbroking, investment management, and banking. Beyond his professional life, Wole is an alumnus of Igbobi College and has diverse interests, including photography, writing, traveling, reading, cycling, and golfing. He is a member of Ikoyi Club 1938 and Elephant Golf Club, Shagamu. Furthermore, he recently published his debut book, Wallace Wallace, which reflects his passion for writing and creativity. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's give a round of applause, virtual clap to Mr. Wole Awe.
Thank you very much. The pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Then we have Dr. Michael Adeoju. Dr. Michael Adeoju is a seasoned professional with a PhD in organization leadership from the Chicago School of Professional Psychology and holds a PMP certification as a project manager. He resides in Houston, Texas, and has amassed over 15 years of experience in project management, specializing in implementing healthcare software within the healthcare sector. Dr. Adeoju is the founder and CEO of Michael's Mindset, an organization dedicated to reshaping the human mindset. He provides empowerment and coaching to help individuals achieve positive results through their thinking patterns. Additionally, he is an accomplished author and a life coach. Please let's make welcome Dr. Michael Adeoju.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And finally, representing Dukia Gold from the product provider's perspective, we have Mr. Peter Anierobi. Mr. Peter Anierobi serves as a link between the investors and Dukia Gold, ensuring the highest standards of authenticity, purity, and transparency in gold investments. He will share insights into how Dukia Gold supports and enhances the gold investment experience. Welcome, Mr. Peter Anierobi.
Thank you, Nonya. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, thank you so much. Now let's dive into our discussion. We're going to start with Mr. Awe. Can I confirm that Mr. Awe is still with us?
Yes, you can go on. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So as a seasoned investor with years of experience, what are some of the key factors that you consider when making investment decisions?
Thank you very much. I think the first and most critical influencer, that will influence your investment decision, is basically your risk appetite. To what level can you take the risk? We all know that the higher the risk, the higher the reward. So you need to determine your risk appetite to know exactly the type of risk that you can accommodate. And above that, you need to have an objective. Are you investing long term? Are you trying to just ride the market and make money and go, or do you want to become a day trader, as they normally say? You know, you just see investment opportunities, you just go in, go out, you know, and look for other opportunities as they come. Or do you want to go the long term, which again, it's a function of what you really want out of the investment. Are you planning for your retirement early? You know, do you have school fees to pay? You know, have you got a project in mind? So these are the type of things that you would consider. And of course, your income. It is a known fact that you don't invest more than you earn. You know, so you need to find how do I call it, a balance, right, to determine exactly how much you earn and how much you can afford to invest. And of course, we need to know the difference between investment and savings. And of course, to an extent, your religious inclinations as well. You know, oftentimes you find that some sects will not invest in some sectors, you know, as in tobacco, gambling, you know, all the rest. So your ethical persuasion also goes a long way to determine the type of investment decisions that you take. And I'll round this up by saying that at the end of the day, your investment objectives should also be a function of diversifying your risk, right? You cannot skew everything to an asset class, for instance. You cannot put all your money, all your investments in a particular stock, you know, so, or in a particular asset class. So you need to actually look at all these things that I've mentioned in a perspective that will suit your overall investment objective. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for that. So a follow-up question, what is your view on the long-term outlook for gold as an investment, you know, especially in today's economic landscape?
Yeah, you know, as I said earlier, the real determinant to me is your appetite for risk. And gold, a precious metal, is not the type of investment that you make in the short term. So because there are many factors that influences the price of gold, which you need to understand very well before you dive into it. Short-term investment in gold may not be beneficial. Please do mark my words, may not be beneficial, because the volatility of the pricing in the short term, right, that I have seen shows that you need to really have a longer term perspective, because the type of factors that drives the price of gold, you know, has to do with so many parameters: inflation rates, you know, economic policies, environmental, you know, and so on. So it's not something that you go in on a Monday and you think that you can make your money on a Friday. So in terms of that, I think that, you know, as as an edge, gold oftentimes, you know, the price of gold oftentimes is driven by inflation, right? Because people want to hedge and keep and maintain value. So I believe that if you understand the type of factors that affect the price of gold, you'd have a better understanding of the type of, you know, of returns, or the type of of gains you can make from it. You know, so in my mind, I think for a long-term player, you just buy gold. It has some risk; it's not risk-free, but if you understand the entire dynamics, you know, of the end, you know, the end result, then of course you should be patient enough to hold gold for a long period of time. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So we're going to move to Dr. Adeyoju. This question is for you. So, sir, as a leadership consultant and business coach, What are some of the reasons why people invest in gold?
Thank you very much. Just like my colleague mentioned, lots of good reasons there, but one of them is gold is money. It's a currency that was used as to trade before we had the paper money, if I may put it that way. The investment in gold also cannot go bankrupt. It's been around for a long time, and it will really be around most likely longer than we all are. That's just the reality of facts. Like my colleague mentioned earlier on, it's also an investment that acts as an inflation hedge. That is very, very important. And it's a tangible asset, very tangible, that you could put it in your house, even though it's very unwise, or you could show it off, or you keep it in a vault, very tangible. And it requires no specialized knowledge, quite frankly. You don't have to learn the charts like you would in a forex trading environment. And most important, for the environment that we live in Nigeria, it's a good portfolio diversification tool. Like was said earlier, you can't have all your eggs in one basket, if I may put it that way. It allows you to diversify what you have, and gold is a very, very good class to have within your portfolio. Those are the reasons why I believe people will invest in gold. Thanks.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So what do you think are some of the psychological factors that influence these investment decisions?
Wow. Well, the keyword psychological factors. One of them is fear of losing, and that sometimes outweighs the joys of gaining. Um, it kind of it's a bias that can lead to poor investment strategies as investors hold on to losing positions or losing assets longer than they should, or sell winning positions too early. So the fear of losing, it's one of the psychological factors. Another one is confirmation bias. For people who don't know much about an investment tool that they're trying to get into, all they have is what they have been told in gatherings from people who may or may not have an idea what that investment class is, in this case, gold. So the tendency is to search or interpret your information to confirm your already pre-existing beliefs. Well, you think this is not good for whatever reason, because Auntie Joe said that, you're going to keep looking for that information, and you always find information to support your bias. There's information to support any bias out there. And this selective exposure results in skewed perspective, and also leads to potentially poor investment decisions. Those are the two ones that comes to mind quickly as far as psychological factors.
All
You're
right.
muted.
Thank you so much, sir, for that insight. Wait, sorry?
Well, I said you were muted. You were speaking, so I was alerting you that you were muted.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your insights concerning that question. So we're going back to Mr. Awe. So how do you think that the recent economic and political uncertainty has affected the gold market?
Yeah, I'll talk from the Nigeria perspective. The tragedy, if I can call it that, is that we look towards the US dollar as a safe haven. And you can see the drive anytime that we have inflationary pressures, in the economy, people run to safety, buying hard currencies, as a way of hedging inflation. Inflation seems to be, a pandemic now. And I believe strongly that the best way to hedge in this circumstance is to go for gold, because it's, as I said in my opening, it's a long term. You get the best out of it if you play long term with gold. You can never lose, because one, it is it is not printed, it is not minted, it is even used by CBN, by our central bank, as in their reserves. So the value of gold in this present economic situation that we are in, if you really want to hedge against inflation, you go for gold. And as I said, even at the at the point at which a country devalues its currency, you find out that you cannot lose value because gold is priced in in dollars at the same time. So you can have your cake and eat it. You can lose your value in your local currency, but because you've invested in gold, if you back to market, right, and of course it can be traded, outside of the country that you reside, if you use a dealer as Dukia gold. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm comfortable with it. I believe that to an extent is a no-brainer, right? But like everything, it has its own risk. So you just need to be aware of this risk and try to hedge. And there is an interesting thing. If you really want to look at it, by the time the shares, shares and stocks are going up, you may not find the gold, going along that path. There is a negative correlation between the two. So if as an investor, you can have your investment in shares and also have in gold, so that at the end of the day, you have a portfolio that shows growth and maintains value. The key thing is to maintain value. I have $100 worth of gold, no, 100,000 naira worth of gold today. If by devaluation, inflation, I value it, it might come down to say 80 naira. But by the time you market to the market in dollars, you find out that you have maintained value, if not, to even earn some returns from it. So I believe the demand of gold is still there. As long as the demand is there, the prices will go up based on, the economic realities, on ground. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Following what you have just told us, what are some of the risks and challenges that are associated with investing in gold?
Well, I highlighted it. A price volatility. It's a given. Prices will always go up and come down. So it is a risk on its own, So inflation risk is there. Political risk, I don't think, so the risk, investment risk are usually based on the economic activities, even political activities as well. So as long as you understand this, education, investment education is very key before you even go into any investment. Understand the basics. But if you have a long-term view of investing in gold, you find out that, all this turmoil will come and go, but the value of your asset over time is maintained, and you can even earn, appreciation in pricing. Now, for instance, our stock market has done almost 30% appreciation. The all-share index for this year at 30%, fine. And gold may not mirror that. The appreciation might just be 5-50%. But at the end of the day, since you are not selling or you are not trading often, right? 5 years, 10 years down the line, an appreciation of over 60-70%, you find that you have evened out inflation and you have even made more money. The value of gold that you are having. So all these risks are there. They are potential risks. Okay. So you just need to be aware of them, understand them, and know how to hedge against them. If you are an investor and the value of your gold, you see a depreciation in the value, and the price has gone down, you buy more. And doing so, you can average out, right? And so that by the time there is a pickup and the price goes up, you are already there enjoying it. And as we say, by the time you see a bandwagon, it is already late. Okay, so if you wait until it's going up, how to buy, fine, it's a strategy. But at the same time, you might be buying at a higher price because everybody is seeing what you are seeing. But if you monitor it, it has dropped 5%, and you have the enough liquidity, then you go in, right? All this shows that you understand the risk of investing in the metal. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So this question is for Mr. Adeojo, Dr. Adeojo, rather. Back to you again. So how can investors manage the risks and the challenges that are associated with investing in gold?
Thank you. Well, it kind of boils down to one sentence, which is seeking information that helps you manage your expectations. Because like my colleague mentioned, if you manage your expectations by understanding that this is not a short-term investment or a short-term expectation or a short-term move, then you tend to be able to manage those risks very well. I think it's when you don't have your expectations well managed, that's when you actually increase the risk that are already there, that are inherent in any investment. For example, you buy today and you think it's something you're going to sell tomorrow or next month. No, I think it's something you buy and have a clear mind as first you're hedging against inflation, you keeping your money safe in an asset that frankly, I don't want to say does not really depreciate over time. If you look at the charts of gold, it's been going up. The price of gold 10 years ago is not today. That's just facts. So that in its sense is managing the expectation of that investment. I think you have to be able to manage that very well and have a clear understanding of what you're getting into.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. So I would want us to still talk about what the benefits of investing in gold are. So what are those benefits?
Well, like it has been mentioned earlier on, lots of benefits there, and I'll try to touch on some over again because it's very important to understand those benefits. One of them is protecting against inflation risk, and it's a good way to save money for the future. And the benefits in this instance also, it differs a little bit based on the person's age, but over time, it really doesn't differ because if you're younger, you have the chance of long-term returns, longer than normal. But for somebody who is in their midlife or maybe approaching retirement, then it becomes a tool of where to safely put your money in an asset that could be traded or sold anywhere in the world you go to. Because the advantage of what we have here is gold is tangible. You can take it around. If you really move into another country and you think, okay, I'm going to a new country, I'm just going to sell my gold when I get there. It's an easy to buy and sell. It's very easy compared to other kind of assets out there and does not require much maintenance. But the one benefit that I like to touch on is it can easily be passed on to the next generation. I think it can easily be passed on more easier than anything else if you really look at it without too much headache. I have 10 bars. I have 10 children. Each has a bar. We're done. Not I have 10 houses and then there's a fight about, well, I want the one in Surulere, I want the one in VI. So that is something that some may want to consider as an option as opposed to what the normal views of what you're leaving behind are. I think gold within our environment could be something to really, really take a strong think about. And with Dukia Gold, the way you guys manage and process and safeguard this gold, I think one should feel safe and at ease that if I buy X amount of bars, it's at Dukia Gold, it's there. And I'm sure you will talk about that before we get off this call, like we have at all calls. So those are the benefits I feel there in investing in gold.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for highlighting that. So let's come back to Mr. Awe. What are some of the best ways, like for someone who is just starting to invest in gold, or for someone who wants to start to invest in gold? What are the best ways that we can take to invest in gold?
Thank you very much. I think I just use myself as an example here because I believe I fit, you know, I fit into that frame. Before I started investing in gold, I had like a 3 month, I took out time to get myself to understand exactly what I'm going into, and I think it really helped me. I started this year, and no, I started last year. I think late last year, and it's like a virus because those monies that you think that you don't have, right? You can actually build them up and pile them, especially given the type of services that is being offered by Dukia Gold. Okay, it's so simplified. Even you can drop as low as 10,000 naira. The day you have 200,000, put it there. That kind of thing. So it's like you build gradually, and that is what I have done. And that simplicity, I want to believe, encouraged me. And there are many features that I believe, I don't know if it's powerful for me to say it here, but I see a lot of creativity from you guys at Dukia Gold that it's actually inspiring because it tends to meet the everyday objective of an investor. One is very liquid. There is not, you may sell at a loss, but the mere fact that you have an asset that you can get money for, in a split of an, a wink of an eye, right? It makes it so easy, right? Because if you look at the other asset classes that you have, right, apart from a cash deposit in a financial institution, in a good bank, that you can just go in there and work and what, and gold is even more, at the comfort of your, house, office, and everything. You can sell your gold and get value immediately. Okay, so, and when you now have enough cash, you can still go back and buy. So the fact that I have a liquid asset, right, it makes life easier for me. And again, I also know that there are other benefits for account holders, having a debit card attached to your gold holdings, right? I wait for this to be activated by you. I believe these are the needs that would encourage people, especially people like me that, may have a need for urgent cash. Okay, I'm going abroad, instead of queuing, at a BDC or whatever, I can go with my card, right? That is tied to the weight or the value of the gold I have in my account, and I'm liquid. So I believe with the creativity and the understanding of the needs of investors like me, I'm really encouraged. I must tell you, I'm really encouraged. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So what advice would you give to someone who is considering to invest in gold at the moment?
Well, the advice is simple. Anything that, I'm in it, so I see the benefits, I understand the benefits, and I just believe that, in these times that we live in these uncertainties that, that we go through, in the uncertainties that we go through every day, one needs to have a safe haven, you know. Investment in gold, like other assets, right, are worthy, are worthy ventures to go into. But you just need to understand that there are different asset classes that, would suit individual objectives, But more importantly, if you are in for the long term and you want to maintain value, I think gold investment is a no-brainer, right? And the beauty again is that it is an international asset, if I can put it that way. At any point in time, you can get the value of your holdings from various, various platforms all over the world. And as my friend earlier had said, I'm moving. I can sell my gold. I may not sell my gold in Nigeria. Okay, and that's again with a good, how do I call it, with the type of rigors that we went through to open the account, with the checks, with the KYC, with the agreements and everything. I think we have an opportunity to even think global in terms of investments. There are some of us that have friends, families, and siblings abroad. I think we can also look at this, avenue, the way of keeping our naira, of keeping the value of our naira to an extent that it becomes beneficial to us at the point of need. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Just before we go on, if we have any questions, please let's put them in the chat box for any of our panelists. So you put the panelist name and then you put the question so that the questions are addressed to the panelists. Thank you so much. And also in the chat box, you'll find our social media links and you'll find our contact info. You can follow us to keep you abreast of any events that we are having, and to keep in touch with us. And also we have phone numbers. You can call us at any time, and I'm sure we'll be able to attend to you. Thank you so much. Now, we're going back to Dr. Adeyoju. So let's continue. So how can investors use gold as a hedge against inflation, sir?
Well, that's a good question, especially in the environment that we live in, being in Nigeria here. Looking at the economic landscape of Nigeria, coming to the naira to dollar devaluation, it's a very, very good tool. It's a very good tool because you don't expose yourself to that volatility of what naira is saying to the dollar, like my friend mentioned earlier on. And putting your money in gold provides that protection from that. Because when it's time to sell your gold, you are selling it at prevailing gold price. Now, like you mentioned, you could be selling it at a loss because you're selling it too soon or at the wrong time. But if life happens and you have to sell it, at least you are selling it at the prevailing gold price then, which is quoted in dollars, and then you can convert back. And I think that is one great information there. I will allow the expert to elaborate on that area. I'm not a financial expert, but I got into it for that same reason. Having my naira just in naira, looking at what's happening, it just makes good sense to have it in gold. And that's what I have done. And I definitely intend to do that because of some of the creativities that my friend had mentioned earlier on. It's a no-brainer. We can keep writing dissertations on it over and over, but it's just a simple thing of you get into it, saves your naira. In this economy, it's a no-brainer at all because your naira, what it was in January 2023, is not the same in September 1. That is enough to get anybody thinking in the right direction easily. I think that's my contribution on that.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So how do you think that investors can diversify their portfolio using gold?
Well, first, you have to buy it. There is good news and there is great news. The good news is you should have started 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, 2 years ago. I wish I did. I'm sure I fit into that boat. But the great news is you can start now. And the best time to start anything good is now. Buying the gold bars and coins, it's a good way. And as mentioned earlier, it is not where you put all your eggs. It has to be part of the mix. And you need to consider your individual financial goals and your risk tolerance, as was mentioned earlier, and your investment horizon. Some people are getting into this because they just want to save the naira there while it doesn't get affected by up and down of dollar. Some put it in there because they want to be liquid anywhere they go as they travel, as mentioned earlier on. So you understand your goals is very important as to why you want to use gold to diversify. But neither here nor there, having gold within your portfolio at any age, be it young because you have time on your side, or be it a little bit younger because time is now more valuable. And by the way, people always say time is money, time is money. Time is not money. Time is greater than money. Money you can get back, money you can buy, money you can build. Time you can't get back. That is why to start is now, if I may wrap it up that way.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. So we're going to come back. We're coming back now to Mr. Awe. So given your experience in stockbroking, investment management, and the banking industry, how do you see the future of gold as an investment asset?
I think I'll answer that. I'll answer that question by just with one sentence. Let's go back, flashback to 2008, as the financial markets, the crash or crisis. Assuming that I had gold then, assuming that I was heavily skilled, no, even not even skilled in gold, assuming that I had gold in my portfolio, I would have edged. I would have, I wouldn't have lost so much. Okay, so that's with that benefit of, of hindsight. I think we just need to educate ourselves, understand the type of dynamics, in the investment space. If you understand that, then nobody would work so hard, and be glad to lose money. So by the time you understand that, then you would work towards ensuring that having a balanced portfolio or a diversified portfolio, I don't say balanced, a diversified portfolio. Because you see, there are asset classes don't always give the same returns. While some appreciate, some depreciate, and by the time you are not well informed to know based on your needs, because investment is not just a hobby, is to meet some objectives. So if, for instance, you have, bills to fund, educational bills to fund for your children, abroad, for instance, they are in secondary school now, you need to plan for it. And what other investment, an asset class that would deliver to meet that needs? Some may go into the real estate, but is it liquid? Some may go the shares and, and stock options investments, but these we all know also has its own risk. But if you have a 10-year horizon that you are looking at and you work towards it, I believe that, as Zapo said, it is a no-brainer. It's just to have that discipline, because you see, you need to be disciplined to invest. Okay, because it is that discipline that drives your overall objectives. If you are not disciplined and you believe that today I'll do stocks because everybody is doing it, and and the stock market is making a lot of noise, is the highest in so many years, blah 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 blah, forgetting that it's just some few drivers that are giving this type of returns that we are seeing. But gold is gold. It's a stand, it's an asset class that should be given, a better understanding. Either two, we all thought, well, I thought that, it's an elitist thing. It's only people who have, who have chopped life that can invest in it. But because it's so simple, it's so basic now with my app, right? With my accounts, I fund my account, I can buy gold at 12 midnight. Immediately I get value. I have the gold in my name. So we need to be more open, as I said, educate ourselves more, read more, ask more questions, and you find out that, and as there's no better time to start than now, really. I wish that I started like 10 years ago, confess, but it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Just final question for you, sir. considering the political and economic situation around us, how do you think that these trends will affect the future of gold? I mean, as an investment, we're investing in gold now. How do you think that all these trends we're seeing in the news, how do you think it's going to affect the future of gold?
Yes, with a lot of noise in the in the economic circles, to be precise, devaluation, stability of the naira against the dollar, all this, are how do I call it? Should actually drive our interest in gold, because devaluation, well, we've had it this year over 40%, and we are being told that we may need to extend it more. So even at, how do you keep your naira? How do you keep your value in naira? If you had 4 million naira cash, May 29th, okay, by end of June, you've lost 40% of 4 million naira. It is that simple. If you had 4 million naira in gold, I don't think you'd have suffered such a loss in the value of your assets. And it cuts across. You see, we look at returns in isolation of inflation, right? And negative returns are, how do I call it, seems to be what we are having on other asset classes. A negative, at inflation rate of 22% or 23%, and you are telling me that you've received an appreciation of 40%. I think it's, but gold is sure is a banker for me. I don't have any problems. But the thing is that it has its own risk. We need to be aware and cautious of that. It is not an asset, that you buy on a Monday and sell on a Friday, right? If you're not making losses, on price differential, you make losses on transactional charges, which again, I need to bring out here that Ethiopia Gold is doing something I don't know how long it will be sustained, but the mere fact that you trade and without paying a transaction charges, and you buy gold, you sell, I think it's also a plus, if you ask me, because I am, even if I put my money in the bank, I still get alerts at the end of the month and debiting me for SMS messages, maintenance charge, and the rest. So, and for now that we still have this window, I think it adds to the type of returns that we get at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We have one final question for Dr. Adeyoju. What are some of the challenges of investing in gold?
I think we've already mentioned that heavily, but I'll just repeat them and touch on them a little bit more deeper. Price fluctuations, like Wally just said, you can't buy today, Monday, and want to sell next week, Wednesday. It is very, very important to understand that it is not suited for short-term investment. I can't beat that dead horse enough. One, you must understand that. But at the same time, it's a good hedging tool. It's a good protection of your currency, especially anywhere in the world, but talking about Nigeria where we are. The storage of it also, people think you buy it and put it in your room. No, looking at that, it's an expensive commodity and requires secure space to store it. And I can tell you that was what caught my attention when I got involved. I so wish I started a long time ago. And I'm glad I'm in, and I plan to stay there just for the fact that I feel comfortable that it is safe, it is stored well. And even if I want to have it, because some people have the ego of looking at what they bought, I also know that it can be sent to me wherever I am in the world. That caught my attention, that you can send my gold I bought in Nigeria to me in Houston if I just had the ego boost just to show it off, which would be so dumb. But if I wanted to do that, it's possible. And that is, to me, challenges, but a good one that you have hedged against, and that is very good. those are the 2 points, because a lot has been mentioned earlier on. I don't want to go regurgitate what has been said, but price fluctuations and the storage, those are the challenges, but we can overcome those by educating ourselves and be aware of the risks and be aware of the services you provide as far as the storage.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Mr. Awe, and thank you, Dr. Adeyoju, for your insights. And we're going to have a Q&A session soon. And in this session, we'll call up the questions addressed to either of you so that we can provide an answers for our participants. Now, we welcome Mr. Peter Anirobi. Now, Mr. Peter Anirobi is going to give us the perspective of the product provider. Now, Mr. Peter, how does Dukia Gold ensure the authenticity and the purity of the gold that it offers to our customers?
Okay, thank you very much, Noye. In gold, we have different types of gold product that you can invest in. I'm going to talk about the investment gold, investment bullion. Now, before you can invest in this kind of product, you should ensure that you get it from a dealer who sources it in the right way. Because if you should get a product that is sourced wrongly, you've been duped, because you can't sell that in a good market. You will make losses at the end of the day. So one thing that Dukia Gold has done is that our product, we follow LBMA standards and regulations. We make sure we follow it effectively. So all our good products are good products that follow the standards of LBMA, WGC, and OEC. So that I want to make sure that we maintain in all the good products that we sell. So thank you, Noye, for that question.
Thank you so much, Peter. So we have varying needs of different gold investors. Now, how, we're trying to debunk the news that you need to have plenty money before you can invest in gold, right? So how does Dukia Gold address this situation? How does Dukia Gold address the various needs of their different types of gold investors?
Yes, we understand that in Nigeria, we have a very unique situation. We have the rich, we have the poor, and then we have the medium classes. I want to make sure that gold is available to everybody within this class. So we have different products that suit different accounts or different classes. This is to ensure that is an all-inclusive product. Is something that can aid every single person in the Nigerian space. So we have products that you can invest in with as little as 5,000 naira. Those are what we call the pool allocated products. We also have the discrete gold and bars, which anybody can buy. We have the 1 grams, 2 grams, 100 grams, 10 grams, up to 1 kg. These are products that are targeted at different persons. So we also have some products that can be traded at the commodity exchange, which are targeted at institutional investors. So we have unique products that is targeted for each class of the market. This is to ensure that everybody plays in this market and gains the benefit of this market. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. So how does Dukia Gold contribute to enhancing transparency and trust in the gold investment process?
Okay, in gold investment, it's very important to us that we inform people, we educate them, and then we communicate with them at the same time. So if you have been following our space, you will notice that we've been giving out, we'll be issuing webinars almost every week. This is aimed at achieving these 3 things I just mentioned: to inform you, to educate you, and to communicate with you. Information is key in a gold market. We also have our social media platforms where we give out daily nuggets, where we talk about what's happening in gold for you to get informed. So it's actually very key for us to inform people about what's happening in the market so that they can make informed decisions in terms of gold.
All right, thank you, Mr. Peter. Finally, how does Dukia Gold envision the future of gold investments and its role in the financial market?
Yes, I will say that the future of gold is actually very bright. We know what is happening around us, and from the things we've been saying, the panelists have been saying, that gold thrives during the time of crisis. And we can see that there's crisis around us. It's only said that a war that information was planned of does not kill even a deaf man. So all these things we've been hearing about what is happening around us. So we know that all these things are happening and gold thrives in these kind of circumstances. So we see the future of gold as very, very bright. And gold is something that is going to appreciate over time from the way we've seen it. And at the same time, in terms of the financial market, we know that when there's crisis, the financial market takes a hit. So we see gold as something that investors in the financial market can take as a hedge against any of these things that might occur. So gold should be seen as something like as an investment that one can use to hedge against the downward trend of the financial market should a crisis occur. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter. Thank you so much for that insight. And thank you to all our panelists. And right now, we're going to a question and answer session. Now, if we have any questions, please let's put them in the chat box and we'll go from there. So there is a question for Dr. Adeoju. The question says, are there options for silver and how is it stored, sir?
Well, I think you guys answered that. You guys said, I don't know whether you sell silver. Storage, though, I can tell that from my experience, storage has been great. You guys store it very well. I have no problems at all and no concerns. So, part the storage of the gold, top notch. The silver, I think I'll let the experts and the bigger brains let's respond to that if you do silver. I'm not aware of that.
Thank you so much, sir. So there's a question. Are there options for silver? So I'm going to call on Mr. Bamidele. Please, can you answer that? Are there options for silver?
Okay. Thank you, Noyan, for the question. And I think I should also thank the panelists, Dr. Michael Adeoju and Mr. Oliawe, for the very insightful and useful discussion that they've shared with us for the past 1 hour. And with respect to the question, and so gold, we need to understand that gold is only one out of the many precious metals that we have, and it's being traded as an investment. So the same way we have gold as a diversification tool within a larger investment portfolio, on the same vein, we also have diversification within a precious metal investment. So what that means is that, yes, gold typically performs well. It's a medium to long-term investment that does well. If you look at the trend historically, that we can see. At the same time, gold also has its risk with respect to the price movement. So perhaps for short-term to medium-term investors that would really also like to hedge against the risks that are associated with gold in itself, and they would then start looking towards other precious metals in the mix of the precious metals portfolio. A typical one could be 80% gold. Gold, of course, would make the larger chunk of the precious metal investments. Then you can then have a mix of 10% silver, a bit of platinum, and if you are more sophisticated, you can also include palladium in it. But all I'm saying is that silver is also a good investment. Historically, silver too has performed well, and it's also an industrial metal that has many applications aside investments. With respect to the question, is there an option for silver? At the moment, no. And the reason is very simple, because the market for gold in Nigeria, investment grade gold in Nigeria, is still evolving. There's still a lot of education, a lot of sessions like this that still need to be held for everyone to really understand gold as an investment asset class. And I think when the market is ready for it, Dukia Gold is willing to bring all the precious metals that have been traded everywhere else in the world to Nigeria, where you can then start trading silver, start trading platinum, palladium, and in fact, rhodium as well. So at the moment, no, you can't. But I would say if you're just starting out, you you're much more on the safer side to invest in gold first. Then as you get sophisticated as an investor in gold, then you can start looking for ways to diversify your precious metals investment portfolio by adding silver, platinum, and other precious metals to it. And respect to storage, thank you, Dr. Ajeju, for clarifying that we have addressed the issue of storing metals. So silver is also a metal on the same vein. So the same storage principle, which is the fact that we store it with Brinks, our holdings and our customer holdings are stored with Brinks. So when we start offering silver products for sale, it will also be vaulted with Brinks, and you also have to pay a nominal storage fee for that, which is inclusive of insurance. Yes, the storage fee is quite different for silver because silver is less valued than gold. So it usually attracts more storage fee because the same facility that is vaulting gold is also the same facility vaulting silver. So sort of the kind of cost that is incurred is quite similar. So if you're incurring the same cost for vaulting gold, and you're also incurring the same cost for vaulting silver, and one is more valued than the other. So what that would mean is that there needs to be some sort of price adjustment in terms of the fees. So you typically pay more for storing silver than you would for storing gold. Thank you, Naya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bamde. Now, this question is for Mr. Peter. It says, in what currency is gold sold?
Okay, so thank you so much. Gold is basically priced in USD. That does not mean we can buy gold in any other currency. Currently in Nigeria here, we have our gold. If you go to our website, the gold is priced in Naira. So it's a function of the exchange rate between the US dollar and the Nigerian Naira. You can also buy gold in Euro or Great British Pounds. So, but the basic price for gold, which the LBMA releases both the AM price and the PM price is based in USD. So that's why we also say that because it's a foreign investment, it also adds a value so that when Naira is depreciating, is also the exchange rate effect is also making the value of gold that you have to appreciate at the same time, thereby serving as a hedge for you against the devaluation of the Naira. So thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. Another question for you. When investing in gold, do you have professional that helps as a broker to purchase, or you purchase directly? And what is the minimum amount that one can invest?
Okay, so when investing in gold, you can contact us directly. We offer the platform where you can buy your gold through us. You can visit our website to be able to get your gold directly from us. In terms of minimum amount, the minimum size for a gold bar is about 1 gram. A discrete gold bar is about 1 gram. While for coins, you can get it in fractions of ounces. But in terms of the unique innovation that we have, we made it in such a way that you can even invest in gold using the feature of the pool allocated, where you can start with as little as 5,000 naira and then save towards earning a 1 gram gold bar or a 100-gram gold bar or a 1 kg gold bar. So that is one unique feature that we have, and it's something that you can start off with little income.
All right, thank you, Mr. Peter. Another question for you, Mr. Peter. It says, you should please address the fear of sustainability mentioned by Mr. Awe.
Okay, in our current...
another,
okay.
Apologies. I think it's also linked. It's also
Okay.
linked to another question that we have here that says, where do you source the gold that potential investors will be buying?
Okay, thank you. So in our current world right now, there's this issue of sustainability, and is a major global issue right now, and that is why I talked about LBMA guidelines for gold sourcing. You don't just source your gold in a way that is not sustainable to the environment, to the people who are living there. in a way that is not right. So one thing that that we ensure is any gold product that you see from Dukia Gold is sourced in a way that is in tone with the guidelines of the LBMA. So our gold are sourced in a sustainable way. And in terms of our sourcing of gold, Nigeria has a large deposit of gold. We have gold in Nigeria, which is also part of our portfolio, and they will make sure that these gold products are sourced, are processed in the right way, and are mined in the right way as well. We also have international partners who are LBMA certified that help in minting of these gold ores from Nigeria, and then we then have it as a finished product that you can buy from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter. So I'm going to call Mr. Bamidele. There's a question here. It says, is Dukia in exploration and exploitation of gold?
Sorry, can you come again, Noye?
Okay, the question says, is Dukia in exploration and exploitation of gold?
Right. So Dukia Gold is actually involved in the entire gold value chain. And the gold value chain in simple terms starts from the exploration phase. So gold usually is found in its native form as an ore. So the ore could exist in alluvial form, or it could exist as a lode in rocks. So you need an exploration license to do your findings from the desktop review, to actually taking samples on the site to be certain that you have good deposits there, or you have good mineralization. So then that process goes on to actually mining it itself. So for mining, I usually come out to what we refer to as the gold dorés once it's processed and smelted, before it then goes to the refinery and mints. At this stage, it is manufactured into the finished bars and coins, and that's usually the form in which the investment grade gold are sold. Then from there, it then goes to the vaults, where it is vaulted before it is then distributed to the end consumer. So in simple terms, that is the entire gold value chain. And in Nigeria today, as Peter mentioned, we have huge deposit of gold that is still largely untapped. And Dukia Gold, what we're also doing is trying to be fully involved in the gold mining sector of Nigeria, in addition to the gold trading sector as we are currently doing. So yes, we're involved in exploration, mining, and trading of gold.
Okay, sir, another question for you, sir. Is there an age limit for buying gold?
So actually, there is no age limit to buying gold. And I would also explain this very extensively. So we have some underage that had come to us to say, oh, I need to buy gold. I have some money with me as donation from my parents, and that I want to put it into gold. We sold quite a number to some underage. And underage in Nigeria is less than 18, the age of 18. But the way we do it for operational professionalism is that when you come to us, we also need to know your legal guardian or parent. They are the ones that would actually be able to provide us with an approval before the account can be opened for you. So if you come to us as underage, your account is going to be opened as a sub account under your parent or legal guardian's account. So until the age of 18, they will manage your gold holdings on your behalf. So the moment you're of the age of 18, the account management will be transferred fully to you. You will then have your own account management under you. So parents that wants to buy for their kids, yes, you can buy for your kids. You open accounts for them, but they will be sub accounts under your account until they're of age. So once they're of age, then the account management will then transfer to them. So, and some would also like to transfer gold to their children, to their wives, in the event of them passing. So we also have arrangements for that now. You only need to provide us all the information, the recipients, the beneficiary, in the event of your passing. So if that happens, we are going to notify them, one, and they also need to provide us with the proper documentations, which after verification, and the gold will be transferred to the beneficiary that has been specified in that document to us. So yes, we have provisions for that now.
All right, sir. Another question for you. Is Dukia on stock exchange?
We are not on stock exchange, but we are on commodities exchange, because there's a distinct difference between the two. Currently, at the moment, we are working with the Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange to list our first exchange traded good product, which is referred to as the Dukia Gold Exchange Traded Certificate. So this is typically designed for institutional investors that are sort of used to trading on an exchange. So this certificate is backed by a 1 kilogram gold bar of 99.99%. So typically, this product is more suited for institutional investors, high net worth individuals, more than retail investors. That a pool allocated gold might be the type of product that is suited for them, as they like to build up their portfolio with time. So yes, we are working with LCFA to get listed on the commodities exchange to start trading our exchange traded good product.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bamidele. The next question is for Mr. Peter. Before I read out the question, I see a hand up. Mr. Harry Ogunleye, please type your question and put it in the chat box. Mr. Peter, how likely is it for gold to maintain its price stability in the case of an adverse economic situation like a pandemic?
Okay, thank you very much. Like our panelists have said, I remember when Mr. Walawe was talking, he was talking about the fact that if he had invested in gold during the financial crisis of 2008, that he wouldn't have made as much loss as he did. The thing is that historically, gold has always performed greatly during the times of economic hard times. Even if you check during the time of COVID, when COVID came, you see that the price of gold went up. So whenever there is this economic issues as affecting the world, you see that the price of gold always go up. So if you have gold and there is something like pandemic that just happened, it's most likely that the price of gold is going to go up, and which automatically increases the value of your assets. So gold is an asset that performs very well in terms of prices. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Peter. I guess at this juncture, I would like to draw the curtain on today's event, this discussion, and I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished panelists, Mr. Awe, Dr. Adeyoju, and also Mr. Aniarobi, for sharing their invaluable insights and wisdom with us today. Our discussion has shed light on the multifaceted world of gold investments, talking about the factors such as the market dynamics, psychological influences, risk management, and the role of the product provider. I just want to say that as we navigate this financial landscape, it's evident that gold continues to be a fascinating and resilient asset class, and it offers us a stability and growth potential. The perspectives and insights that have been shared by our panelists has also provided us with a comprehensive view of this market. I hope that this dialogue has not only informed us, but also inspired us in our investment endeavors. And as we move forward, let us remember the enduring allure of gold and its role in wealth preservation and growth. Dr. Adeyoju, you have your hand raised.
Yes, if I could indulge, there was a question that was missed, which I think is important. Somebody had asked that we should give assurance that Dukia Gold will not disappear from the online space. I think that's a very valid question and concern. I don't have it, but I think it wants to be addressed for that person, if you may.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Bamidele, please, there's a question. And it's about assurance that Dukia Gold will not disappear from the online space.
Okay. Thank you, Noye. So Dukia Gold does not have presence only on the online space. We also have physical presence. And what that also means is that we're registered and licensed to operate in our operating environment, which is in Nigeria. So we are registered as a company, first of all, and secondly is that we are licensed by the federal government to be involved in the gold value chain. So we have exploration licenses, we have mining leases, we also have trading licenses, export licenses, and refining licenses. So all of this put together allows us to operate legally in Nigeria as a full bullion service merchant and a refiner. And with regards to the online space, because we also have an online trading platform and social media presence, we also ensure that we operate with the utmost professionalism. We hold ourselves as a brand to the highest standard. So in terms of our customers holding as well, we also ensure that all our customers' interests are safeguarded in terms of their assets, in terms of their cash, in terms of their interest in our entity. We also have investors that invest in the company as well. So as a bank, we ensure that we protect everyone's interest. And one thing we've also done in response to the gold is that gold is allocated, all our products are allocated to the named investors. So we as an entity separate our holdings. What that means is that our stock are separated from our customers' assets or holdings with us. So it's not on our balance sheet. So in the unlikely event that Dukia Gold ceases to exist as a company in Nigeria, all investors can still lay a legal claim on their gold holdings if they want to liquidate by way of delivery of their holdings or by way of liquidating to cash. And that provision has been made because Brinks is also aware of the distinction between the allocated gold products to clients and the Dukia Gold stocks. So we also employ the ISO standards for our platform. We ensure that we're in compliance with that. We have disaster recovery strategy in place. Our database are secure, privacy policy. So we ensure that we operate with the utmost professionalism in all our services and all our products offering. Thank you, Noye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Another thing, in the chat box, we have the links to our social media pages again, and we have our website as well. We have the trading website, and we also have a corporate website as well that we can visit. We have our social media handles here. We are on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. You can follow us on those platforms so that you are kept in you have full knowledge of what is going on and the next event that we'll be holding. So at this point, I'm going to say thank you all for joining us today, and may your investments shine as brightly as the precious metals that we have spoken about in today's discussion in gold. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.